Hello, Guatemetal. Today we will encounter rawness from into the pit and out, and into the pit again, and to celebrate metal as we live, sweat and breathe metal, everything metal. And cheers to all who want to continue to watch this virtual show and more interesting interviews. Subscribe into the YouTube channel. With us is a band that has a violent, awesome death metal. From Tampa, Florida, USA, they are immersed in the founding Finnish, Mexican, and South American death metal scenes from an era between the 87 and 93. Raw, angry, and violent death metal. I got this great hook from their Bandcamp site where you can pay for their demo from 2017, which I would definitely recommend to check this now. You will see the links right below there, and after this interview, of course, you can check that out. Now, with us today from Tampa, Florida, Vacuous Dephts. What's up?
What's up,
You're getting the vibe from Guatemala now, huh, Austin?
Oh.
Really, man, you should come play here, because Guatemala it's a place for death metal and black metal, definitely. Arturo knows what I'm talking about.
Absolutely, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Their lineup right now, people who are watching this, is Austin. He plays the guitars. He's with us right now, and also is the vocalist. Arturo, who's a really known, musician here from Guatemala that everybody knows because he has many bands and side projects in Tampa and in the Florida area where death metal rules. And Dustin on drums. He's not with us today. Perhaps maybe later.
He's at work.
He is at work.
Yeah, work. Definitely, we need to work. We're metalheads, but we need to work. So let's get into the conversation. We were just talking about how you guys live close to many death metal legends, right? And you are in the area where people that we known as world rock star. I don't know how to call it. Maybe, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's celebrities. Yeah, they're metal celebrities. They're gods to a lot of people. They're legends to a lot of people. I think especially the early days, the heydays.
Those days are the days, right?
Yeah, those days were the days. Now it's very, very hard to find that kind of a scene here. But it's not a bad thing. It's just not what it was. I would say Arturo's perspective coming from Guatemala to here is probably very important to that conversation because it's pretty significant to run into people,
Yeah, definitely. Christian, what he's saying is right. When I came from Guatemala, it's like a whole perspective, all the expectation. The only thing I knew about Tampa was, the classic, the studio, Morrisound Studios, right?
In Morrisound, that's
all
basically in kind of like just north of here.
Yeah, I that's the only thing I knew, and I was like automatically thinking there must be shows all over the place. Once I moved here, like the first show I went was Creator, on Obituary, stuff like that. So it's pretty impressive. You see all that at first. It's truly happening these days. It's still, it still goes on. People still loves death metal. So
I mean, it's how we met. We met at a show. So I don't even remember what the fuck it was.
I think Morbid Angel 2019.
Suffocation?
No.
That has to do a lot, right? What band was?
Oh, it was Necrotor. It was that
Necro, Morbid Angel, Immolation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just wearing the Immolation.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So basically, we any metal guy or girl or whatever would go to a concert of a band that they like, right? That they think it's cool. So You guys definitely met at the right place at the right time, right? So that's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's not like a crazy story where you met at a different place, right? You met at a concert, so you went straight to the point.
Yeah, so I had a really rough time finding musicians, ironically, in this area to do what I want to do. We don't, it's not even a brag or anything weird like that. It's just, we don't sound like the other bands that are from this area do. Like, we have different influences. We don't sound like Tampa bands, or at least the ones people know. And so it's really hard to find musicians that have, you know, the amount of knowledge that's inside this dude's brain for music is incredible. I'm 38 and him and I share a lot with music, but like, he'll hit me with some shit that I didn't know. And I'm like, wow, I didn't, that dude has a tattoo on his ass. And he's like, yeah, he's got a tattoo on his ass. You know, how do you not know that? So that whole thing is really awesome. So he's a true asset. And he was an incredible find, and a great friend. We've become pretty close.
Oh, super close.
So it's pretty cool to say that and Dustin too. I gotta, you know, Dustin's not here, but Dustin goes back to when I first started playing music. Him and I have known each other since then, at least half my life ago. So we've been friends for a long time. So we have a pretty tight little group of friends now, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, being around celebrities and stuff in the shows is pretty interesting. You're bumping shoulders with the dude from Nocturnus, fucking Browning is fucking hanging out, and we're talking about octopuses and shit, and all that stuff. So
do you guys get the chance like to say like, hey, I want to, be the opening act to your show or something?
What's even cool to me, I think this is really cool, is that when you do, there's people that are just sort of at these shows, so they end up becoming your audience anyways. Which is kind of cool. And I'd rather have that. I'm not really one to go and rub shoulders
right.
with that is just to befriend them.
Pure pressure, man.
Like, you guys opened for Necrod before Necrod went, like...
Yeah, because
I saw Flyer. I wasn't in the band yet, but they opened for, like, Necrod.
Yeah, when we first were a band in 2017, we got a chance to open up for the second tour of Undergang, and that tour had Undergang, Necrot, and that was their first U.S. tour. And then I actually became friends with those dudes from that show. I've literally been talking to them ever since. So Chad, if he ever watches this, he's a fucking friend. Like, we talk all the time. Sonny, the guitar player, him and I talk all the time. He's a super fucking awesome dude. Both of those guys are stand-up guys. So both of those people are, people that we just ended up playing with, and then like go to a show and we hang out, we go get pizza when they come into town and stuff, Sure. So it's pretty neat, but I'm not a big fan of like the celebrity side of things. I like people that are a little more normal.
You like people being people.
I like natural people.
Yeah. Not just
well, I don't live there, guys, so I don't know who is who. I'm just
no.
So let me just go ahead and ask you a few questions, because you're really smart guys, and I love your music. It's fucking awesome. Brutal music. I'm gonna buy it right after this interview is done. So you can go ahead and look at the demo, Vacuous Dephts, at bandcamp.com/releases, and you can pay 99 cents per track, right? Or do you have to buy the whole thing?
It's the whole thing. So basically, like, I put it once we had sold through all the tapes, and once time had passed. It's it's a 2017 demo. It came out in 2019. People have it now, so it's out and available. So I just wanted people to have it. So it's $1 to get the whole thing. I wanted it really accessible. And the reality of it is that we want people to have it, not to not have it. So
talk a little bit about the lyrics, man. Can you give us a little insight of why do you write like this? I mean, does it have a way? Do you have defined a way to write? Like in poetry, for example, you look for romanticism or something for death, or I'm just asking because it's really interesting.
Yeah, so I think a great example, there's really 3 influences that I have, even though they're not particularly musically influences. But Chuck Schuldiner wrote about death, but he wrote very personally about death. So a lot of the songs that are on the demo are dealing with either personal loss of mine, of family member. There's a couple songs on there. That's the one that's they're on right now, Cycle of Control. I live in Clearwater, Florida, so that means I'm just over the bridge from Tampa, and that is a cult town. So that is about Scientology. So that song is actually what that's about. I live and actually I used to work for them at some point, so I know quite a bit about them. So I'm pretty outspoken about them, and I try to include one track on every single release ever that we do, and every band prior to this too, about them. There's songs on there about there's a lot of just natural horror in the world. I don't really like, I don't know. I don't watch horror movies and shit. The world is scary as fuck.
You're doing all real.
Yeah, it's all real life horror.
Real life.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big influence of mine. I want it to be personal. I want to be able to personally be able to speak on something. We don't have a lot of music. We have the demo and we have now the full length. But we don't write extra music. We write what we write. We're happy with it and we continue on. I think that's kind of a different approach for a lot of bands. But the stuff that I write about is uniquely personal, where one of the songs on our new LP that is coming out is about the serial killer that we had in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And
can you give us a name or explain? Just, I mean, not
Sure.
to focus on that guy or whatever.
Yeah. No, there's the name of the song is Exteriorization.
Mm-hmm.
And it means that word is actually a made up word by the Scientologists that I stole from their stupid fucking dictionary that they make up. And it means to leave to leave your soul, or to leave your soul behind. And the song is encapsulating just basically this dude on a rampage through Tampa, and he went through and basically just picked off innocent people. He had motives to just kill people. It was spree killing. And it was literally right down the street from my house. I was walking my dog at that time, and it was, kind of just before, after the demo came out, and I heard a noise and I was like, holy shit. I was freaked out because he was hunting at night, and he killed 4 people before he got caught. And so it's just, I like to write about stuff that's either close to home or some things that are kind of, like I said, personal things that are easy, more tangible, and real life horror.
Yeah, I like your writing, man. It's awesome.
Thank you.
I have a question about your writing, though. This song actually, what you're talking about is afterlife, right? Do you believe in afterlife? I mean, when you're used as a human compost, right?
Yep.
You're giving life to something afterwards.
Sure. The idea of reincarnation, right?
I'm not sure if I should say yes or no, because I mean, I'm just the guy who interviews you.
Yeah, sure. So human compost is actually it was actually, weirdly enough, I try to leave politics out of everything because it's not really something I want to touch on. It's metal, it's death metal, it's whatever. Trump was in office, and a lot of people think that this is kind of more, that song Human Compost is actually more about puppet politicians. So if you look at those lyrics, kind of like they're directing the media's kind of pushing them in one direction, and they're telling people one thing and lying through their teeth, and they're disgustingly rich motherfuckers that have never seen the light of day for work, but they're in charge of all these things. So there's some socio-political content in some of the stuff, but I kind of try to keep it a little buried, not to be too literal, but the buried beneath human compost is actually what it means is just we're kind of buried under pressures and the politics of everyone else. So it makes it, that was just one of those songs that kind of, it's like actually one of the only ones, but that are
not even close. I mean, not even close to what your head is writing, man.
Yeah,
congratulations. That's the awesome part of
Let me tell you, Christian, he changed his mind after sometimes three practices. He's like, oh no, we gotta redo something on the song. He's really, you can tell he has his steps when Austin is sure. They're just like, okay, we go for it.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's great.
I try, even though I write a majority of the music and all the lyrics, but it's important to me that we are a band, so that like they feel included. But I don't want to be like, hey, dude, we're playing this song. This is how it goes. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be. I trust this guy's brain. I tell him all the time. I was like, you have so much influence and knowledge and understanding. Look at that guy. Yeah.
He's got his own fans.
Yeah, dude.
Fan base here in Guatemala.
Yeah. He was one of our...
I have some questions and I keep forgetting.
Go ahead. You're good. You got it.
Okay.
Chime in.
What would you have as the best playlist for a road trip? What would that be? I mean, 5 songs.
I'm gonna let him start that because it'll probably be similar to me.
Playlist for
what? Repeating the whole thing. The whole thing.
Yeah.
What is a Christian? A playlist for what?
For a road trip. Like if you're going somewhere that.
Well, I guess for me it depends on my mood. Depends what kind of trip. If it's new or something. Maybe give me an example. I'll tell you now.
I'll say this.
Where
you listen to those bands who you played with,
if we're like for instance, we're getting ready to go play down south.
Oh, together?
Yeah. If we were like doing that,
like fucking death.
So this guy, all right. He's got this huge death strike flag.
Death strike right there.
That's a big one. So. We're actually working on a Death Strike cover. We're working actually now that the LP is written. We're actually working on some cover stuff just for fun. But Death Strike Master, the early stuff.
Master, absolutely.
I would say because of the immense amount of Finnish death, I love. I would say Sentenced. Shadows of the Past. That's my number 1 death metal record. Oh man, there's so many. Amorphous, Privilege of Evil. The EP. I don't know about you, but I'm a huge fan of EPs when it comes to death metal. Those are like some of the strongest.
I like demos. Not to interrupt or anything, but I like demos because demos are like they're
the bread and butter.
Well,
the real
demo.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to demos, but when I can, I do.
Yeah, no, cool. Demos are definitely where it's at. I mean, when it comes down to it.
Were you talking about this new arts or just old?
No, that's actually the back cover of the new LP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the back art. That was just kind of one of those things where we wanted to post something that was kind of like an update for the artwork, because we've been working with Carl Dahmer, who did that. Phenomenal dude, basically now a friend. I talk to him all the time. And his band's actually coming down in September, and we're gonna be putting together some shows with them. But he had finished that up, and I was like holding on to it for a while, and I kind of like surprises. You know, I don't think everything should be displayed, but when it comes to that thing looks so brutal. I was like, fuck it. We're gonna show somebody.
I found it. I think it was Facebook, I think.
You posted somewhere, yeah. You was some.
I found another one though.
That's the cover art. Yeah, for the LP.
Oh, okay. So we're out to something here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is the cover.
Yes.
And the name of the LP, right? Corporal Humiliation.
Corporal Humiliation. Yeah. Yep.
I see what you mean about politics and all that. It really reflects in this art. I think.
Yeah, there's actually an immense story, very a focus that I like to try to have is Florida specific, because we are a Florida band. I want to talk about Florida, and this particular song, Corporal Humiliation, and the name of the record, it's a title track. It is, so if just to kind of look at that art and so I can kind of see what's going on there, there's a house that's in the middle that is called the White House, not in reference to politics, but in reference to the color. And it is on a property of a school in North Florida called the Dozier School for Boys. It was a school that originated in the early 1900s. It lasted till 2013, I think. So it's over 100 years old. If you look very closely, there's crucifixes kind of all over the place in that image, and those are renderings from the actual pictures of the property of the school. They've started finding there's this small graveyard that's at the school, and there's about 30 marked or unmarked graves, and there's 30 of those crosses all in like a little cemetery setup, and it's very rural. You know, this is in the middle of nowhere, Florida, and basically they found roughly 90 unmarked bodies. And so almost for every year this school was open, they were killing kids. Yeah. One a year. And yeah, it's brutal, dude. Like the story
in the background there.
Yeah. So so Carl and I talked a lot about the concept of the art and, you know, direction and stuff. And it was just like, you know, how do you want to, you know, where do you want to go with this? Like, he's great at, like, his art just looks violent. It's just like splattered, it's scratched up, it's fucked up looking. So I was like, you are the guy that I want to do this. So I want you to kind of take a influence of like Pusshead. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pusshead, if you remember Pusshead, but
I do. Yeah.
So Pusshead was a huge influence on me. I love collage art and stipple drawings, and you know, he had the coolest skulls.
That dude beat all the 90s bands, I think.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Metallica shirts. He fucking did.
Oh,
you know,
like
a lot of Metallica shirts.
Yeah.
Posters and things.
Yeah, posters. I actually have a really good contact on an original print, so I'm working on that. So yeah. But I love Pusshead, and I told him, I was like, I want this to feel like that. And obviously in the background, I see this really cool. You put up the art for the demo. I like clean art. I like it where it's like, it's not like gory, drippy, all this shit. Like that was supposed to be kind of like a H.R. Geiger feel, like kind of thing. But
right.
But it's very clean. It's very, you know, the guy that I did work with, he worked for us. He's one of my favorite illustrators. So I like working with people that one, we respect, and I love his art. I love art. I always joke around that, like, 40% of the reason why I have a band is so I can put out the art for it.
Hell yeah.
There it is.
The D-side spot.
Yeah, that's
Vacuous steps.
So yeah, it's a just for the record, for that cover art for our record. If people want to look into that, it's an insane story, and they actually wrote a book called The White House Boys. And it's been archaeologically dug by the college here in Tampa for that site, and they have x-rayed the ground and found all of these fucking 8-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 11-year-old kids that got murdered. So it's fucking crazy. But that's what a lot of that imagery is, and that song is specifically about.
Exactly. Death metal is basically about insanity, right?
The horrors
lunacy.
of real life.
Lunacy. Well, your music, man, is, guys, your music is, because Palomo, you got in later during the.
I joined August 2019, and it was my first band I ever joined in the US, and Austin welcomed me as a bass player. Oh.
Yeah, you're playing the bass, and that's great to know that you're new. You're doing a new thing, because we were used to seeing you play guitars.
Yeah, he took a bullet for us.
Yeah,
but I tell him all the time, dude, like, he's just as loud as I am. That's the one thing that's missing from death metal, is that, like, there's always drown out basses, and the guitars are super fucking loud.
Oh, yeah.
So we're like I would say about 60-40.
This is like a bastardized death metal Motorhead style shit. You just have his
bastardized music.
So it's like you got bass on one side and guitars on one side. It's just like equally loud.
Yeah,
so
and he's very distorted,
so
it makes it sound kind of guitar-esque.
And I have a question. What next step is the band, processing all that energy to? What's gonna come up now? New album, music video, a new member?
No members. We're keeping it a 3-piece. It's hard enough to get these assholes in one room with me.
Yeah, wonderful.
So we have some announcements coming up that I can't say yet, but we do have some shows lining up for out of city. I would like to be able to break some news, but someone is out of town to where I can't yet. So
something really close that belongs to the band.
so maybe if you push this interview maybe a couple weeks out, maybe I can do the announcement. I don't know how you work that. So
well, the whole editing part will be done later on.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not sure if it's gonna be this year. I'm just kidding.
No. So basically, we have final mixes coming through. We finally got our mixes in. That's been a huge uphill battle, really.
We just got them like a few days ago.
Yeah, a couple days ago. So we've been listening through them and making notes, and I actually just sent out notes for the remix. But
is it tough to get corrected? I mean, yourself, listen to yourself and say, wow, I really need to correct this, right?
No,
or maybe you did in one take, and that sounds great, and
we set up before recording, so we were sure about it, right?
Yeah, I think the way that my past, obviously you're what, 22, 21?
I was 22.
22. So I've got a handful of years on this guy.
Yeah,
and so he's learning some shit from me.
So my music sensei.
Yes, music sensei.
We're gear sensei.
Music
sensei.
Yeah. So I try and show him some stuff. I have a lot of experience in studios and recording and all of that process. And so when we went in, I'm a purist when it comes down to capturing what we do. I want my amp to sound like my amp. I'm not using some dickhead's amp. It's like, oh, this is like a $1 bajillion amp. No, I fucking use my amp. he uses his.
Yeah, sure.
The drums were pretty natural sounding, but we have like a concept for that record to sound like that. You know, we have a million influences, but there's a couple things we try and hold to. So, you know, keeping in mind a little flexibility, we record, and what we get is what we get. You know,
Yep.
Most of the record was recorded in. You know, I know he was great. He did it like 1 or 2 takes, but we didn't really punch in all that often. So it's actually, yeah, it's very, we try to be tight. I know the engineer, his name is Dan, he calls it the Hum Depot, HUM. So yeah, but it's called the Rock Garden as of right now. But he appreciated the fact that we were tight and we took it seriously and we banged it out. Like, Dustin fucking flew through recording in 1 day. So the whole LP was recorded in drums in 1 day. And about
Dustin.
So it's fucking brutal. And our songs are not easy, but we did it smart and we worked through it and we kept going. And so it's pretty cool. I was pretty impressed. Dustin absolutely floored us. He's an amazing drummer.
Yeah, he crushed everything in the single possible way.
I'm so excited for people to hear this because it's going to surprise people.
Hugo,
It's
I have a
fucking
next question.
yeah.
Is there a better instrument to play when you play death metal? I mean,
Better?
if you would like to play a different instrument. Yeah.
Like gear wise? Like if I play a
I would
different
say,
guitar,
yeah, gear wise would be nice because, you know, like what you feel when you play maybe like rather more personal or something.
So him and I argue all the time about guitars. So
Sure.
he hates black guitars.
I hate black colored guitars because I just think like it's too dark when you go on stage and you play and there's just your hands. You don't see the fucking guitar. It's all dark or
Everything
lights.
disappears.
Everything disappears. It's just your hands moving. I like personally. I like wood or white or something like you can see and you're just playing it.
But
Personally.
also he likes cool looking guitars too. Is it Thunderbird, right?
Well, the bass.
Firebird?
The
What is it?
bass?
Yeah.
The bass is Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he plays a Thunderbird.
The classic.
Yeah.
The
And
classic guy.
yeah, and I like
love it.
classic guitars myself too. So you know, we've been talking about different gear and stuff and whatever, but amps are really, really most important. So that's more of a thing. So
Yeah.
he plays a PV Mark IV, and
Yeah, I saw that amp, I think, when you came here. Like,
yeah, it's actually right here.
It's right here. You wanted to show it?
But
Yeah.
yeah, so he plays the Mark IV PV with a 215 cab, which is
Suno.
it's exceedingly loud.
Sure.
It's an incredible sleeper amp. I don't know if you're familiar with the word sleeper, but it's, you know, basically like no one fucking knows it's that good. So it's a great amp.
If I can. Yeah, there we go. He's right there.
And that bad boy right there, and that bad boy right there.
That's amp man.
So
that's extremely loud. Yeah.
yeah, super loud. And so we're working on getting them louder.
Yeah, we are actually working
Awesome.
on some new cabs or something.
We
New
get
speakers actually.
new speakers, but we're working on some things. But I play through a Les Paul style Electra 70s era lawsuit guitar. It's basically like if you look up the old brands like Ibanez, fucking Electra, they both had like major lawsuits dealing with Gibson suing them because they look like so fucking close to the real like a Gibson custom, you know. So I
heard that story. I think.
So it's awesome and I love it. I was actually going to bring it today so we can kind of go through a couple things, but I didn't. I play through an Ampeg head as well as an Ampeg cabinets. I was lucky enough, this going back to our conversation earlier about Tampa, royalty, if you will. So are you familiar with the band Ass Suck?
Sure.
They were an old grind band.
Grind, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually play the same amplifier that they owned. So it's actually from them, and I play that for this band and my last band, really. But
I knew about that band on a Hatebreed booklet, like in a CD. In a CD, Jamie Justice wearing a Ass Suck shirt.
Yeah, fuck yeah, he was. Yeah,
wow, that
that's
is a crazy name. I said.
Yeah, Capsula was from St. Pete, right?
They were from Tampa, St. Pete area. It's Tampa Bay, the greater Tampa Bay.
It's truly like the same scene we are now, but like late 90s, right?
Yeah, that band was a really big back in the day, and they had a very particular sound, and a lot of people don't know this, but without them, that Tampa sound would not have really existed. Steve Heritage, who recorded, a fucking ton and got all these death metal bands here. He is actually the reason that shit sounds the way it sounds. Like, it's brutal and it's fucking heavy. Guitars are fucking crazy. Like, that whole thing started with them. So it's pretty cool. He was like a big part of the production side of things and getting people into Morris sound. So I really do have like a kind of like little treasured amp that I use, and I don't use anything other than those amps. It's an SS150 is what it's called. It's a 150 watt solid state, and for the record, the best fucking solid state ever made. So
great.
Yeah.
You should show us next on the Facebook or Instagram. You guys do all those networking, right?
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, we got Instagram and Facebook.
We like to keep track of bands, that we like.
Yeah,
that's the reason, right?
Yeah.
So I got another question. What are the odds of not being in a metal band in present day? And there's a second part of the question. What are the odds of being part of this band so far in the journey?
I'll take that first part.
Yeah.
So the first part is I came from like hardcore punk and grind, and I love power violence. And we're not talking about nails. We're talking about fucking real power violence. Fucking Man is the Bastard, Capitalist Casualties, like that shit, the wild shit. Crossed Out, that kind of stuff. So my background comes from grind and shit. I would love to have a grind band, but I don't have any time to do anything but this. So I don't. This guy, on the other hand, is a busybody, and he ends up having 15 bands, and all of them are good. So there you go.
Thanks, man.
So he's got his Collapser, which I know was on here a little bit ago, but
sure, we had a really awful connection that day, but right now we're doing great, right?
We're doing super great so far. Yeah,
it's really smooth.
Considering it was raining and shit, so it's pretty good. Yeah.
So you got a thunderstorm today. Is that what you were saying to me, Arturo?
Yeah. The art for the demo is what it looked like when I was coming over here.
Yeah. Yeah. My last 2 minutes driving from work were the same.
Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Nothing to see. Yeah.
How is the thing going on when it comes to present day? What are the odds of being part of Vacuous Dephts, Arturo?
Okay. Dude, I don't know what you mean by that. I'll be honest.
If there's something wrong that you could like make better or something, I think that's what the question is saying, right?
To like improve it. Odds? Like, do you think like improve the band? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Like the odds of being part of this band doesn't necessarily have to be negative, right? It's something that happens sometimes,
If I understand your question, I think to improve the band, like something that we long for, or something that like we want to.
I think that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where you're going. So I know that I'm always really happy if I'm still inspired to write. And I am. So, we've been working on this fucking LP for a long time now.
Almost 3 years, probably.
Yeah, we've been writing it for a long time. We wrote extra music for it to make sure that it was full enough, or we felt it was better and more than what we did on the demo. And improving upon the demo, I think it's more mature. I think my influencers are locked in for writing, but now that I have the right people writing with me, and obviously, like, I always go back to this, but talented, like, he's a good player. He's a really good player. Arturo, and Dustin is phenomenal.
Fantastic. Dustin killed it.
So
shit.
he was like grinning ear to ear when Justin first joined the band, because he was just like, oh my god, like, he's so fucking good.
Yeah,
so we're lucky. Like, I'm not joking, like, he's a fucking
no, I understand the feeling.
We went through I joined in 2019, Dustin joined in like 21, right?
Yeah, so we had
a few lineups, so we had different drummers.
Yeah, we had
when Dustin finally learned some songs, I was like, he blew my fucking mind. He made the songs better.
Explode.
And even there's some demos there's some songs from the demo that are gonna be in the album.
Yep.
And if apparently you already listened to the demo, but when you hear the record, you will see the improvement, because they're the same songs, but there's definitely a lot of improvement.
Yeah, Chris
it's crazy. So
Chris was the drummer on the demo. He's a phenomenal drummer, and he came from grind background. So his approach was different than Dustin's. Dustin's very methodical, and he's planned out. He's a drummer's drummer. He's truly a drummer. And he likes way technical music, so he's like incredibly good at just being technical and busy.
Busy.
No, not like on the just in the music.
Oh, that's
so busy music, but
busy in the drum kit.
Yeah, behind the drum kit, he can be busy. So he's really phenomenal. He can go around this kit so fucking fast, and
awesome,
and super tight. We did not record to a click track or anything. Him and I literally just sat there and did all the tracking, and the guy is a fucking metronome, just dead on everything. There's it's insane. So working with him has changed everything. I can't express how nice that is to work with people and to like go to practice and be like, oh God, I don't have to like relearn everything. This fucking dude studied on the way home, it's great. So he's a phenomenal drummer, and having him next to me on bass is that much better. He's a quick learner, and so we have our own strengths and stuff. So.
Give me all.
What's going on with the merch, guys? You have a lot of T-shirts out, right? And
not the logo ones, right? Or
they're next. I have we'll have those at the next show, and they'll be available.
This one?
Yeah, the logo, the one on the right side there. The right side is we're gonna have that on white and black. So it's awesome, a white shirt with black ink, and then a black shirt with white ink.
So you guys do the merch designs yourselves, or do you have to credit someone else?
Merch design.
Yeah, like the logo and all the.
So the original logo
ideas.
That's on the demo. The demo art has the original logo. That was drawn by me. Mm-hmm. The artwork for the demo was done by a dude named Steven Bauer. If you follow at Meatball Grinder, that is his name. He's actually in the band Cryptic Void, the grind band from Texas. And then the new logo that you just put up there, which is fucking sick. We got that redesigned off of mine. And I told him, I was like, I just want this to be a better version of mine. And ironically, I'm wearing the shirt, but if you look at the Nihilist logo, this was actually the closest like
to the old
logo I could get to. So like it was kind of in reference to this logo actually, which is technically the Entombed logo too, but it was
you're right. It looked familiar,
you see it. So like the more you see it and stuff, but I had concepts that were deeper with the logo because now that we're such an established band and we've been around, I wanted it to kind of really kind of put together more of us to the the other one was just kind of bold and whatever. So I wanted them to kind of incorporate, if you look at it, it's got some ties and binds and then chains and shit. And it's because we speak on a lot about confinement and torture and basically like domination is like a really big part of like our lyrics and content.
I like that word, man. Domination sounds like really good,
dude. It's exactly what it is, man. That artwork is about capitalism. The demo art is literally just about a person wanting more and more and more and being more and more empty as they get it. And
I'm gonna look at your Facebook here.
Yeah.
I saw a video.
Yeah, we got it. That's from our last set. That's the song Sodomized. From the Druid Lord and Killing Addiction, which were fucking...
Let's see if I can make it... Oh, that will be all.
There you go.
I'm going to make sure that... Sounds fucking awesome, man. So you guys like play a lot, like really often?
No, we try not to. It probably bums this guy out.
Yeah, I wish I could play more shows.
No, the people who didn't listen to why they don't play a lot, could you explain why, or is this something like sacred, like
no
secret? I mean,
no, I'm a firm believer in when a band is. First off, I don't really love playing at home, and we've had terrible luck with getting shows out of town. Something falls through, something gets canceled, someone gets fucking COVID. The whole fucking shit falls apart, and then we're sitting there. We don't book a lot of shows, so that'll be like the one show we have for 3 months. So it's like it's one of those things where, if one falls through, we have a problem. But with that said, I don't really love playing in Tampa. Aside from the dudes that literally run the show at Brass Mug, we have some following here. We have, we did a local show kind of during COVID, kind of like not during it, but it was sort of towards the end of it where people were still nervous and I don't know if I want to go to a show and like I gotta wear a mask or some shit.
It was like a legit that metal comeback.
So I wanted I enjoy booking shows that I want to be at. So I want to play shows. I don't just want to play any show. I want to play shows that either have our friends that are, like for instance, the one we came back from a while back was Los Reyes Bong Death,
Miami.
And they're from Miami. Like kind of like a regurgitated worship, grindcore or gore grind rather. But those dudes are old friends, and so I wanted to bring them up. So and then we were trying to play with a band called Charred. They're also from kind of southern Florida. Brought them in, and then who else was on that?
I think Corrupted.
Oh yeah. No. I can't remember. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank. But I like putting together shows that are what we would want to be at, what we would want to see. And that pulled about 50 kids. Like that's not a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot, but like we're not a huge band by any means. But if we're bringing in 50 kids from around the area, I think we're doing all right. I'm okay with that.
So Corrupted, Intoxicated, Colonel Reed, Or not?
Oh yeah. No, I was thinking of the Los Reyes.
Oh, so is this
That
oh no, so yeah, Human.
Oh yeah, Human from
from
Orlando. They were awesome. They were a newer band then.
Yeah.
For what I can see, I mean, because I follow Collapsor a lot, and now you guys, obviously, I do appreciate you putting out this awesome, brutal, violent music that keeps you up all day, right? That's great. But the point is that what I've been following Collapsor, and now you guys, Collapsor does play a lot with Orlando bands, right? Is there like something going on in Orlando now that we don't know in the world?
Really, we kind of go and play whatever the fuck we end up finding. Honestly, it's Zach, who's my vocalist, is helping me finding. Like, he's taking care more of the booking side. I take care of other things, but Orlando has good things or bad things like every other scene in the world, I will say, because
they like grind a lot.
Yeah, there's you'll find your people. You know, you have to go and find your people, honestly. And as you go to places like pretty much what we were saying earlier, it's just like you find you get your own fan base somehow. You know, as
the following and shit.
Yeah,
sounds like a great deal of investigation, marketing, and
yeah, it's hard. You know, you don't know until you do it.
Exactly. You know? Yeah, so, you get exposed. You know, you hang out everywhere, anytime, any weekend. There's performances everywhere for any kind and shit. So you just gotta go out and do it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Start somewhere.
There's a lot of DIY stuff happening. A lot more now. So like in Jacksonville, that scene used to be like there was this little tiny hole in the wall place that you played. Called like Shantytown or some shit, and we're talking about like the place was literally like this bedroom, like it was fucking huge, it's like super small, and you go out there as like a death or a grindcore band, and there's a bunch of jocks running around like trying to mosh, and you're like, who the fuck is at this show? Like, who are these people? Like, how did they find out about this shit? And then it's wild. So each scene around Florida, it's a big enough state to where it separates, sounds.
You separate sounds on these scenes.
Yeah,
you know, Miami, Tampa.
Yeah, Orlando. Miami has like a really huge like death doom and like they like black death and black metal. So like when we go down there, it's a crapshoot. Maybe they'll be into some death metal, but those dudes like heavy music, like. That like heavy, like fucking hard hitting, low tuned, beat the fuck out of your friends, heavy. And that's what they like. And so all of my bands have always been really heavy. So we're going to do fine down there. I love Miami. It's like a second home. I have only been there a handful of times. I love it.
Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, so we're trying to make our way around, and it definitely is like weird because
I think it's happening. Yeah, it's gonna happen soon, but
But we played not very often. They play a lot, so it's a thing. Keeps them busy.
It's a different approach, right? You guys like have a different plan. I mean, having many bands maybe can help separate some very good. Tasks or something that the other band didn't do, so you can try.
I think it's gold. Different. I like that he isn't bored not playing shows every month or whatever. We only play like he would probably lose interest. So I'm glad that he has other stuff.
Exactly.
Expect him to not want to play. So we're just trying to be picky. That's all.
He does have time to have interviews, right? So that's great. So.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much for hooking us up with you guys. You're the White House boys.
The White House. Yes.
Vacuous Dephts from Tampa.
Oh Jesus!
I'm having a great time here with me today. Here, Guate Metal Presenta. I have one last question, and it's more like a activity or something. Okay. I would like for you to make an invitation to all the Guatemala metal people to listen to your band.
Well, I would say this. one of my favorite things about this music is that it's the heaviest, gnarliest, most brutal. In our case, we play loud. We play real loud. Mm-hmm. You don't get that on record. You don't hear that. But we try to have that captured. We like it raw. We want it to sound old. We want you to know that there's nothing past 1993 influencing this shit. Like, it is a fucking hard focus on early era death metal, and in a non-traditional sense. And I mean that because we don't have fucking melodic parts. We don't have fucking acoustic interludes. We don't have fucking intros of horror music or horror movies.
No
samples. No bullshit. We do nothing but death metal, and we want it to be brutal. We want it to be true, and we want it to represent what everyone else wants to see. I feel like that's missing. I feel like when I go and see a fucking death metal band, I want them to be fucking angry. I don't want some dude up there sounding cool and fucking playing really rad riffs. I want some fucking guy that I'm afraid of to be playing that music. And so that's what I look for. I want someone to fucking reach out and feel like they're going to get fucking hit. I want their friends to be throwing them around. I want rowdy motherfuckers. It's a participation sport, and I want them all participating when we see them live, when people listen to the record, which they're going to do mostly. We don't tour. We might have some shows. I'm trying to work on some stuff, but we're going to have some shows around Florida. Records coming. We're going to be putting together some more plans and stuff. But the reality of it is, if all of that stuff makes sense and that's why you like this shit, then I promise you, we do not let down.
I will say thank you all for listening. Gracias a todos mucha por escuchar. And I hope the record's coming. First LP, my first personal LP in my life. This is Vacuous Dephts debut, Corporal Humiliation, coming out this fall. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be 3 different labels taking care of it.
Yep, third is not announced yet. So if you want to do that, Christian.
Yeah. It's coming soon. So the record, like Austin says, old school, super raw, but well done death metal. I'm proud of being part of this LP. This record's definitely killer. I'm just glad I was able to record the bass for it. So,
and there's definitely more coming for the record too. We've already even started writing
new
stuff.
Material. Very new material. Yes.
So even though the LP is not fucking finished, it's finished. It's done. It's done being recorded. But we've been working on new music. Mm-hmm. So
we do appreciate that you're putting out this violent music, as I was saying earlier. We like to listen to your music. We like to listen to violent music. We like to listen to Tampa, Florida based, and the USA, always making great, awesome metal. So, sir, I have to leave. I have to go because it's almost an hour here. So listen, go and purchase Vacuous Dephts.bandcamp.com. Releases soon. You'll see an LP there, right?
Yeah, and the demo is going to be soon, I believe, in platforms.
For that. We just sent it out for Spotify, so it's going to be a little bit more reachable for not just Bandcamp. We're going to have some stuff on streaming for the demo and for the output. Yeah,
we'll follow you there, guys. Brutal. Thank you very much for being with Guate Metal Presenta. Guate Metal fans, les deseamos la mejor experiencia en el metal. Thank you very much. See ya.